You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, we're going to talk about the UFL. Got the ratings in, and the ratings are big. That ABC UFL window on Sunday was impressive. Against the Masters, really impressive, to be honest. Attendance, not impressive. And if you're Mike Rapoli, you're looking at St. Louis dropping 10,000 fans from last year on the same weekend. That would worry me. A lot of people are like, why would they worry when they still drew over 20,000? No, that's a week in, week out, 30,000 draw city. So to have them drop by 10,000, I'd want to find out. I'd want to figure out what happened. Because people have been like, well, the Masters was on and St. Louis was playing a home game. Okay, well, they were the same weekend last year, too, and they drew over 30,000. The exact same weekend, they had a St. Louis Cardinals game, and the Masters was on. They still got 30,000 people in there. So they dropped, with the exact same circumstances, they dropped 10,000 fans in that arena. But the ratings, on the other hand, are different. So Louisville and Orlando drew 671,000 viewers for Fox. DC and Houston, guys, that was an 11 a.m. start for like me here in Texas. 662,000. And then on ABC, on Sunday, the Dallas Renegades Columbus Aviators drew 968,000 viewers. And the St. Louis Battlehawks versus Birmingham on ABC at 3 p.m. drew over 1 million viewers. 1.01 million viewers for the UFL. That's impressive. That is really impressive. This guy over here, Greg Parks, did a breakdown of Friday night's game between the Kings and the Storm based on every 30 minutes. What that breakdown looks like is, and I got to looking at this, and it took me about 5 minutes of looking at it to realize what happened here. Because at 10 p.m., the viewership skyrocketed. They jumped to 772,000 viewers. From 9:30 to 10, they jumped 120,000 viewers. And then at 10:30, they jumped to 785,000 viewers. They jumped to almost 800,000 viewers. So at 10 to 10:30, and of course that game was the controversial ending. It ended on a defensive penalty. Not a great look for everybody that switched over to watch, by the way. And Mike Rapoli, the co-founder, the co-owner now, not founder, but co-owner, is saying they're going to look at that rule. They better. But you may be wondering, well, why did they jump 180,000 viewers from 9:30 to 10:30 and 120,000 from 9:30 to 10? I figured it out. SmackDown went off. WWE SmackDown ends at 10 o'clock. So when SmackDown ended, those viewers switched over and started watching the UFL. So no matter what, something is going to take away from viewership. On SmackDown side, on UFL side, whatever. But that does tell you, you absolutely have crossover fans. And this is WrestleMania push, right? We're pushing towards WrestleMania. So when SmackDown ended, those wrestling fans clicked over to the UFL to watch the end of that game. So I was like, what caused that kind of a jump? And then it dawned on me, because I'm a wrestling fan, SmackDown went off. So a lot of times I'll watch SmackDown the next day or whatever. So right here, this is the attendance for St. Louis. And somebody did a breakdown, and it was the exact same scenario from last year to this year. By the way, the Cardinals' attendance also dropped from last year to this year. And the Cardinals got a better record this year. But last year, the Battlehawks drew 30,000. This year, they drew just over 20,000 for the second home game. Yes, the Masters was on. Yes, the Cardinals started at the exact same first pitch time. Basically, everything was identical, except the Battlehawks were undefeated, whereas this year they were 1-1 coming into the game. So I'm not sure what happened there. A lot of people are like, it's 20,000 fans for the UFL. They shouldn't care. Yeah, they should. They should. I think that 30,000 fan mark for St. Louis, that's kind of bragging rights. That's kind of something that the UFL owners can hang their hats on and point to. You don't want to see that drop. You just don't want to see that drop. Attendance for the Columbus Aviators and Dallas Renegades game, 5,133. And I got to tell you, they can't catch a break because I live an hour and a half from this where this game happened. It stormed all day Sunday. There were severe thunderstorms all around them and me all day long on Sunday. It rained. I think we got over an inch of rain, like nearly 2 inches of rain this past Sunday. And I think that Tuesday night game, or maybe it was the opening weekend, they had rain around that time too. I think there is something to be said to moving this league back to the weekend, starting the weekend after the Super Bowl, maybe. Either that or moving it and having this upcoming weekend be the opening weekend of the UFL. Get it away from the Masters. Get it away from March Madness. That's probably what I would do. I would move it to this would be opening weekend for UFL. So, I figured I'd combine this. By the way, DC drew 12,167 fans. That's a good draw. Louisville did over 11,000. It was a pretty good attendance weekend all in all for the UFL. St. Louis dropping would worry me. Dallas being what it is would worry me. The other two places wouldn't worry me so much. So, we know the NFL and the FCC are heading towards a battle over streaming right now. The government officially has an investigation. The Justice Department, the DOJ, on the NFL and their embracing of streaming because they get an antitrust exemption. And in order to get that exemption, all the games should technically, from the moment they moved a game to ESPN years ago, I've been researching this. The moment they moved a game to ESPN years ago, that technically was a violation of their antitrust agreement. Every game should have always been on free network 3-letter television. In other words, you got some rabbit ears, you got an antenna, you can plug that up, and on the weekend, you're getting your NFL. On Monday night, you're getting your NFL. On Thursday night, you're getting your NFL. But now we know they're obsessed with streamers. And you see this headline. The NFL has got to be thinking right now, Amazon Prime just last week said, we see a world where we get to broadcast the Super Bowl. Netflix, right here. We would love to televise this year's season opener. They want the Seattle game. Because, there's that Australia game in there, and a lot of people think Netflix is going to buy that Australian game. No. Netflix wants whatever game is first. at the exact same time that the government is all up in the NFL's ass. Roger Goodell's got to be like, will y'all quit talking? Via Brennan Clean of Awful announcing a recent article from Bloomberg regarding the federal government's sudden interest in the NFL includes a claim about Netflix's ambitions. Netflix would love to find a way to get the season opener, which currently airs on NBC. The Week 1 opener is part of the NBC Sunday night package, which includes Week 1 opener and the Thanksgiving night game. That won't change until 2030 at the earliest. Netflix aspires to televise big events in sports. It may not want a weekly package. In theory, the NFL could peel the Week 1 opener from NBC as part of a renegotiation. At a time when NBC may be unwilling to pay the NFL more for the next 4 years of games, giving up the opener could be part of a compromise. Still, any movement of a significant event like a season opener from a 3-letter broadcast network to a streamer will do little to take the steam out of the federal government's multi-pronged assault on the NFL. I mean, they're not going to learn their lesson here. NFL, pull out of the streaming business. Your pull-out game is, in fact, not great. It's crazy. I mean, they're about to get nailed. You know, Robert Kraft made a comment a while back, mentioned some lawyer I guess they had hired. And it was something to do with the effect, I guess the owners have forecasted a battle with the government. They knew it was coming over streaming or could be coming. So that may go down to that will change the shape of the salary cap, the way money is distributed. It will blow up the entire business model if they lose the agreement they've got right now. So I don't understand why the NFL won't pivot back. There's got to be something in there because the fans hate this streaming shit. Fans can't stand it. It's not you're not being convenient to your fans anymore. It's all about money, and everybody notices it. This is interesting. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.